Hello and welcome to another episode of Taylor Talks Comics. Today we're going to go over the Amazing Spider-Man from the Marvel Comics Library TASCHEN edition, Volume 2. That's a mouthful, but stay tuned. All right, thank you so much for joining me. This video is being brought to you by organicpricedbooks.com. If you are watching this on the OPB YouTube channel or the Taylor Talks Comics YouTube channel, it doesn't matter. Please just give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. I always reply to all the comments and talk to you guys about comics. One thing I love to do. If you're shopping at organicpricedbooks.com, be sure to use my promo code Taylor Talks Comics. That will save you off $2. So I'll save you $2 off of any order. If you're ordering 4 or more books, it's going to be a larger order. You want bigger savings, save 5% off of that order with the promo code TTC, ship it together. So Taylor Talks Comics for $2, 5% off, 4 or more books, TTC, ship together. All that info is in the description down below. This is the TASCHEN edition of Amazing Spider-Man. These books, I've shown them off on the OPB YouTube channel. I've shown them off on my own YouTube channel. They are the best collected editions that the Big Two is putting out today. I guess it's done by TASCHEN, but it's the best collected editions of Big Two content, I should say. This is volume 2, though, and of the TASCHEN editions, this is the first volume 2 that we've received. So far, I believe this is the 6th book they come out with, because they came out with Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Avengers, Silver Surfer, and then this is volume 2 of Spider-Man. So real quickly, I do have volume 1 here. So I want to show off what the spines look like together before I do a size comparison, because these books are absolutely massive. So on the spines here, since this is the first volume 2, I wanted to notate that it does have a 2 here. So before, that line could have just been a separation of years, we don't know, but it is a number 1 because we see a number 2 there, Roman numerals. And this one is the one we're covering today, and it collects the years 1965 through 1966. Between both of these books, you get the entirety of the Steve Ditko run on Spider-Man, which is amazing that we can say that at this point. So I'm going to set the volume 1 aside because we're going to show that off. I don't think I've done a video on that one. I need to do a video on that, actually. But I did want to do a size comparison because this book is huge. Here is an omnibus. So if you're familiar with the DC Marvel omnibus, you can see how much taller than it and wider than it is. This is definitely a book you have to read at a table, but I don't mind because it's so beautiful. So this one collects issues. Let me see here. I should probably remember this. I think Ditko ends with issue 38. I'll get to the table of contents in a minute. Sorry. Here's the Inp Papers, though. Has, just like all the other TASCHEN editions, this blue and white, blown up panels, images. The back Inp Papers are different too. So you get some blown up line work from Steve Ditko. And this is a numbered edition. So for the first 5,000 copies of each of these books, you do have a numbered edition. The copy for this one is 1475. So that's the exclusive number that I got. It does have some pull-out pages too, where it's actually shows 3 panels in one. Is giant-sized, really thick, glossy paper on that one. Oh, here it is. Amazing Spider-Man 20 through 38 and annual number 2. Because the first one included issues 1 through 19 plus the first annual. So this includes 19 issues. Is that my math right? 20 issues. They both collect 20 issues. Here's an original art page by Ditko. You can see the pasted on letters and stuff too. I don't think there's ever been a Ditko artist edition released of his Spider-Man stuff, but it would be great to see. I don't know if there's enough of that out there. I know I think it's the Library of Congress, I believe, has all the original art pages for Amazing Fantasy 15. It'd be cool if Scott Dunbier or somebody got a hold of that and made a artist edition of it. So here is the introduction by Jonathan Ross. And throughout the introductions, they always have some good images here too. You get original art pages, some panels there. This over here, let me see. This is Jonathan Ross himself. Okay. In his college dorm room, it says. There's is this from Uptempo Soul Jazz? Freddie McCoy's Spider-Man. Oh, so he's on the cover of that album. This looks like some sort of... Oh, it's the Mary Marvel merchandising machine. So cool little like coffee table type content if you have a coffee table book. Showing off a little bit of ephemera of that. And some historical context on some of those other things. Is that a layout page by Spider-Man? Or by Ditko? Below. By the stage merely Ditko. Yeah, this is Ditko's layouts for the If This Be My Destiny issue, which is probably one of the most famous Ditko issues, with the exception of like, the first two. Marvel Flyers. Oh geez, sorry. Cool little toy there. Some more original art pages. These plastic pillows. I wonder if anybody still has those. And what that even means. Inflatable plastic pillow. It can't be too comfortable. But the artwork would be cool, man. Some cool t-shirts and stuff. This is cool. This is the cover of a Charlton magazine of The Question, the character that Steve Ditko created. I love the way he puts his signature on the flying away piece of paper there. But I have a collected edition of these that are like reprints from like Gwendolyn, I think it's called, and that has that cover on it. There's that's from the cartoon. That's a very famous image. And you get some more blown up panels here. So when you have a book this size and they blow up panels this big, you'll never be able to see this artwork look like this. So it's just a cool use of that. And you get some more of the blue and white imagery here. And then we get into the comics, as you can see by the title there. This is the good stuff. So this is the best, like I said, the big two comics, the best way any of their comics have been reprinted because of the size, the absolute huge mega size that they are, but also that they're true facsimile editions. They're not these touched up, recolored images where like Marvel has their Marvel Masterworks program where they will even like restore some of the line work, which is kind of blasphemous in my opinion because that's taking away from the original line work from those artists. There have been, I should note though, Jose Villarrubia, who is a great follow on social media, he does from like these kind of essays about from a colorist's perspective, and he goes through some of the, like how things are reproduced and restored and stuff. Jose, he also is the one that restored the colors on the Swamp Thing by Bernie Wrightson and Lynn Wein Absolute Edition, and he's currently doing the Richard Corbin library for Dark Horse, so he knows his stuff. And I just want to note that he has picked out certain places within this TASCHEN volume and the Silver Surfer volume where they have touched up the color and changed things a little bit, which is kind of disappointing in a way, but not that anything I've noticed in a big way. It's not like it's still, I think, a better representation of these comics than like a Marvel Masterworks is. So yeah, the covers though are this high glossy paper, and the interiors are this I guess this paper that TASCHEN themselves have made a recipe of. I forget how they worded that, but they made their own paper quality that's supposed to mirror this newsprint, but it's still like this thick stock to it. So really cool, and that makes the colors lay on this paper just as good as they did in the original comics. But they also keep all the ads in here too, and all the letter pages. So that's what I mean when I say true facsimile editions of these comics, is that it's as if you grabbed issue number 20 of Amazing Spider-Man off the racks and put it in like a transmogrifier and blew it up to this size, and you were reading it just like that. Which is, Ditko's artwork, I think, benefits a lot from this treatment, more so than even like a Kirby, because Ditko uses a lot of 9-panel grids. And when you have those 9-panel grids, it really shows off that artwork in a massive way, because then you're reading these panels are no longer small and condensed, they're blown up. And then when you throw into all the massive amounts of dialogue that Stan Lee likes to throw into each panel. It's just a better reading experience, in my opinion. But yeah, this is the era too. These were some reprint issues. This ad here of what Marvel is doing, and then here's the letter pages, which you can sometimes find some famous. Sorry, my hat keeps bumping the camera. You find some famous like comics creators or people that wrote into these, and it's always fun to see their letters. One of these pinups, I believe, was one of the issues that Jose Villarrubia had, where they put the wrong pinup in it. I don't know if that's the one or not, but there is one pinup where it's actually not Steve Ditko art. That they seem like to swap in and out. And I don't know if it's because they couldn't find a good copy of the page, they didn't want to leave it blank, or if it was an error of any kind. But that was one of the issues. So, like, if you're not like a huge, big-time historian who's read these comics a million times and read facsimile editions before, you're probably not going to notice any of Villarrubia's gripes. But you do still have the great color, because what the TASCHEN does is they like take a very good copy of this comic book and scan it in and take a big photograph of it, and that's how they print this. That's why you can still see like the printing dots on a lot of the artwork. Whereas the Marvel treatment is that like those blues, there would be no dots or texture there. It would just be a flat blue, and it's like this bright garish kind of treatment to it, and it loses a lot of the classic treatment that the comics would have. I guess the argument would be that they're trying to modernize it, but I love the classic look to these comics because they are classic comics. So I'm not going to flip through every issue. I will say that this is the era too, especially when you get into the 30s, the issue numbers 30s through 38, where Ditko really started to do this comic book almost on his own entirely, where he and Stan Lee had a falling out and they were almost not talking at all. So it would be like the Marvel method was that Stan Lee would approach the artist with a paragraph or a blurb of what he thinks the issue should be about. Then the artist goes home, lays out the entire story, and then brings the artwork back to Stan Lee, and that's when he plugs in all the dialogue. So when you do it that way, the artist has a lot of the storytelling prowess, or a lot of the storytelling control, because he's laying out the story, literally. However, that Marvel method, when they had their falling out, Ditko and Lee, really started to diminish to the fact where Ditko was just doing all of the pages himself, and then Lee would get the pages, not knowing any of the story of what was going to happen, and then he'd fill in the dialogue. Into where... I love this splash page here. Yes, because you see here Ditko started getting plotting credit. But this looks like a classic, like... what was it called? Not the Journey into Mystery, but the old classic Golden Age era Marvel Ditko issues that were like the suspense stories. But yes, so that was a lot of the gripe, was that Ditko was saying, like, if I'm plotting these things out by doing all of the artwork, I should be giving writing credit, not just art credit. So Stan Lee would have it say written and edited with loving care by Stan Lee, plotted and drawn by Steve Ditko. That was his kind of compromise to Ditko, was to give him that credit, which changes his pay. Which changes his pay then, because you get paid based on which credits, how many credits you fall under, plotting and drawing by Ditko. Because, like, for example, Todd McFarlane would take advantage of this. When he was doing Spider-Man, he wanted to start inking, so he'd get paid as a penciler and an inker. And then when he started writing the adjective list of Spider-Man, he's getting paid as a penciler, inker, and writer. So like each credit gets you more money. Also note too, on the corner box, this is the era where for a brief period Marvel started doing pop art productions, because Lichtenstein was taking a lot of his panels and stuff from Marvel Comics, and just like the hubbub and the uproar about Marvel Comics was people were giving it, saying it had like it was a pop art of that era of like Lichtenstein and those guys. I'm trying to think. I'm blanking on the other artists that were pop artists back then. So yeah, get all the ads and letters in here as well. I always try to breeze over these letters as I'm doing these reviews to see if I find anybody famous. So let's get a little bit further back into one's later issues. Just a Guy Named Joe. Yeah, he's still getting credit for plotting. Ditko is. Oh, there's some pinups by Ditko. All right, so this is issue 38 right here. Oh, no, this is annual number 2. That's the famous annual with the Doctor Strange story, which is amazing. Actually, this was revisited too by Brendan McCarthy for a 3-issue series that included both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. But that's a famous annual, which I'll talk about in a second, because I wanted to show off issue 38. This is his last issue on the Amazing Spider-Man title. Before the annual. And he turned it in. But this is really cool because Steve Ditko, which many of you know, but maybe you don't, the 2 biggest characters he ever created, period, were Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So this is like a kind of a crossover issue in this annual between the 2. So you get a lot of the great artwork that he would incorporate into the trippy artwork he'd incorporate into the Doctor Strange comics, mixed with the more gritty, harrowing, kind of depressed side of Spider-Man. And you get these pinups too, which appeared in the annual, because there are 72-page comics, but I don't think you probably get 72 pages in here. So it probably took out some of the material. X-ray vision, glasses for $1. So here's the back matter for this. You get storyline credits, these are always cool too, because they take each issue and do a little synopsis of that issue, maybe with some behind the scenes of it, with all the credits involved, because sometimes the colorists and stuff wouldn't be credited, but they would be credited here. Important note that Steve Ditko did most of the time do his own inks, something that not even Jack Kirby did a lot. So you get that. This looks like, is this a fanzine? Yeah, this is a fanzine web spinner. There's a lot of cool fanzines back in the day, and that was the cover of one of those. This is one of the more famous Ditko Spidey images, and it's blown up. Great choice there. And you get some biographies of the creators involved. Saul Brodsky, Steve Ditko, Goldberg, Stan Lee, Sam Rosen, and Artie Simek. And then you get some more of these pages here. Oh, in the back of the back of the book is another cover. So that's the cover of issue 37. The front of the book was the cover of 22. And the covers are like this fabric finish to them, which are really cool. But yeah, great TASCHEN books. They're very expensive, I will say, especially if you're talking about a Marvel omnibus. They do come with a ribbon too. I don't know if I notated that. This one is yellow. But I will say that if you have Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1 and you're looking to replace it with a better version, these 2 TASCHEN versions, Volume 1 and 2, will replace that first volume, I think. The first volume, I think, ends with issue... Actually, hang tight. I have the issue 2. Because I did sell off my Volume 1 in anticipation for these. Volume 2... Yes, okay. So Volume 2 of the omnibuses does start on issue 39. And it doesn't have Annual 2 in it. Yeah, so if you have TASCHEN books Volume 1 and 2, and then we move on to Volume 2 of the omnibuses, you'll be all set that way. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below with your thoughts on these collections. Any other things you want to talk about with me about comics, I will talk to you about down there. Use my promo codes at organicpricedbooks.com. Taylor Talks Comics will save you $2 off your order. But if you want to order 4 or more books, you want to save 5% off your order, use TTC, ship it together. All that information is down below, as well as other places you can follow me on social media. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.